What's going on, guys? We're getting ready to go live here. And then, of course, I got the boys joining me here pretty soon. Just wanted to jump on real quick and kind of get things started before everybody jumps on here. In the meantime, while I'm waiting on everybody to come in, feel free to throw whatever questions you might have in the chat, and I'll answer them for you as we wait for everybody to start trickling in here. All right. See what we got. Make sure we're live. And we are. All right, and of course, if you guys haven't grabbed you a bag of coffee, all right, make sure you grab some. It's probably some of the best coffee I've had in forever. I'm always wired while I'm on there, which goes to show that it's good stuff, right? So again, as we wait for everybody to trickle in here, guys, this is another episode of the War Room Podcast. All right, we got Jake joining us today, followed by Ben. He'll be in here, and of course, today we got Bobby coming on. Bobby Aller will also be joining us today. All right, but like I mentioned, guys, while we wait for everybody to come on, all right, make sure if you have any questions for me, throw them in the chat. The intent is to make this a regular thing to where I jump on here and speak with you guys for about an hour or so before I gotta go do hood things with my hood friends, right? But today we're gonna discuss a variety of topics. All right, the first one's going to be Venezuela, right? President Trump in Venezuela. We're gonna discuss that, myself and the dudes. Then we're gonna talk about the National Guard, all right, being deployed around the United States. It's been done before several times. We're going to discuss about, or we're going to talk about the effectiveness of it, right? And then we're going to give you guys some feedback also as it relates to the shooting stand that was found around President Trump's airplane, right? We're going to talk about that. And then we're just going to give you guys some overall life advice. All right. We got Bobby showing up right now. Bobby, we're live, so feel free to start ripping. All right. I just wanted to get things started. But for those who don't know who you are, Bobby, why don't you go on and let the audience know exactly who you are, and then
how y'all doing today?
We'll jump into it.
Yeah, I'm Bobby Aller, foreign paratrooper, the 82nd Airborne, GWAT original. Did a lot of PSD work, stuff like that. Now I do recoveries in Southeast Asia with a 501c3 named Tours of Duty. I actually help out quite a bit with MACV SOG and work on history. That's about it.
Bobby, what's that noise in the background, dude? You're feeding that horse again?
You hear a noise back there?
Is that your dog? I hear something. It must be a dog.
Well, hang on, I got that terrorist dog. Hang on.
All right, while Bobby goes and take care of his dog, and then we're also going to cover today just the changing of men, like how men have become what they are right now, right? I have a theory behind that we're also going to discuss in detail also. All right, so we got Jake coming in, and then we also have Ben also joining, right?
What? Man.
Hey, what's going on, Bobby? How you doing, man?
Ben, right?
Man, I've been following you all over the place.
What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
I want something positive, well, I pop over to Ben's channel every time.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
All right,
Jake,
so
how you
for
doing,
those
brother?
who don't,
Someone say something to me?
Yeah, I just said well, not that way. I don't want any trouble. You say
No. I was like,
that was default. That was back in Tacoma default. Someone say something to me?
Oh man! So for those who don't know you, Jake, could you do a quick intro, and then we'll do
hey,
Ben, and then we'll jump into the
I'm Jake Swig. I make a ton of military pilots, man. We're doing a lot of mentorship. We're doing a bunch of big things out there. I play football with Ben. Don't believe anything he says. And Bobby's crazy, and Jay is killing it. So we're on this thing. We're gonna drop some knowledge.
That's why y'all haven't been seeing me. I've been re-educated. They didn't put me through a re-education program, kind of like the NBA did. But it's okay. I'm good.
That's fantastic. Hey, I'm Ben Pappas over here, currently an executive coach, leadership coach, and do help people grow their businesses as well, too. Played college football at the U.S. Naval Academy with Jake, spent about 23 years in the U.S. Marine Corps Special Operations, Force Recon, Infantry, did some time overseas as a diplomat as well, too, have a lot to say and a lot of all that stuff. So got a YouTube channel. You go over to YouTube and follow me there. And in the bio, I've got all kinds of stuff. It's a new channel. It's not like these guys. These guys balling out over here. So trying to grow that. But all kinds of links in the bio. You can check those out.
I'll tell you what, man. Ben's channel is like Bobby mentioned earlier. It's super uplifting and super motivational, man. Like I pop over there from time to time when I'm in the slum. I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'll go check it out. You guys should definitely
Hey,
check
thanks,
it out,
man. I appreciate that.
Oh,
Hey.
of course.
Hey, Jay, what's that eyeball back there? What's that looking at me?
Oh, that's
Big
so
stuff
that's the
going on.
coffee
Big
company.
stuff.
That's the coffee company, Dark Arts, right? Where I go around the world sourcing coffee from places where special forces operators have served, right? So yeah, if you're trying to, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a, so I normally don't have more than 2 cups of coffee per day. And one of the ones that just came in, like I have one, and I just start ripping, man. Like I feel like I'm on that Medellin white. It is from Medellin, but I promise
Hey,
it's
Jay,
not some of that white powder.
Jay,
Yeah.
don't fall in that Coca-Cola trap where they was dropping
Nah.
that white candy in there.
I'll tell you better than that. In Kosovo, everybody was getting this protein powder from Russia called the Russian Bear. All right.
Oh, my God.
Man, everybody put on 30, 40 pounds. The whole battalion yoked out. It got D-ball in it, they found, come to find out.
I was just going to say,
Oh Lord.
hey, if you don't know, nothing wrong with that.
Hey, it was on the shelf.
That's
Oh, my
hilarious,
Lord.
man. Has D-ball in it. That's hilarious.
But yeah, make sure you go check out Ben's channel, man. He's crushing. I'm still waiting for Jake to hit 100,000. It's right around the corner. And then we're all waiting for Bobby to start his YouTube channel.
Hey,
But
we talking about maybe launching something this week. You know.
Awesome. It's great,
let's
Bobby.
do it, man.
Bobby just pulled it out of his pocket. Bobby
I've
said,
been
"You know
working
what?
on
I'm
You
gonna
didn't
do it
watch
this
the
week."
Unsolved Mysteries episode I put up the other day.
I saw it.
Yeah. Well, I know Bobby's on TikTok, right? Bobby's on TikTok, but I truly believe if you got Bobby has a lot to say, and he's been saying it all to me, and I'm like, Bobby, just if you have stuff to say, man, just
Yeah.
throw it on there. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
more people that want to hear
Because
it.
I want
For sure.
feedback is the thing, and I don't want to argue with a bot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, don't.
I'm not going.
Don't, right? It's the best way to do it. So, with all that said, guys, like I said, we're going to talk about several different topics today. The very first one being the Secret Service found a dare stand around the president's aircraft, right? They did their sweep and they found a dare stand right there with a sniper rifle, right? Which goes to show, I don't believe in coincidences, right? So something's going on there, right? So we'll talk about that, get you guys perspective on it. Then we're going to go and hit the National Guard being deployed around the country, get some feedback from these experts about that. And then we'll hit some Venezuela, right? A lot of things going on there. President Trump just came out and said it. He was like, hey, the CIA is over there doing work. And I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to say that. But he did. We'll talk about that. And then we'll discuss men, how we've changed in the past 20 years, right? Like how we went from what we used to be pre 9/11 to what we are now as far as social media taking over like essentially their brains and turning them into what they are right now. But yeah, we'll start off with the very first one being sniper rifle being found in a dare stand around the president's Air Force One airplane. Me, like I'm not a big fan of coincidences, and with everything that's going on, one of my biggest fears is that he's still not going to make it the entire 4 years. As fucked up as that may sound, that is a legit fear of mine, and I don't know how to get rid of that fear, especially when things like this just keeps popping up, right? Um, Secret Service did a sweep and they found a sniper rifle in a deer stand. Like, what is the chances of that just being a coincidence, right? It just blows my mind. Bobby, we'll start with you. I don't know if you know anything
Yeah,
about this
you're the first
particular story.
person
What are your
and
thoughts?
source I've heard say anything about a sniper rifle. There's been no information I've read anywhere put out about a rifle being found. They found a very weathered, which had been in place for a long time, deer stand.
Let me fact check myself, Bobby. Let me fact check
I
myself.
wasn't trying to call you out or anything like that, but that was just something maybe I missed. Anyway, this deer stand had been in place for a long, long time, and it's probably being fucking pushed out by Fox News or something like that. And all they got to do, they're going to go and look and see who owns the land, things of that sort. All the straps on it were extremely weathered, dry rotted. The more I looked into it, so this is something that's probably been there for no telling how long, and media has needed a story for the fucking day, basically. I see
I
no
got you.
validity in the whole thing.
Okay, so it's a hunting stand, no sniper rifle, right? So I misspoke on that one. I appreciate you correcting me on that one, Bobby. But either way, Jake, what are your thoughts on him actually making it through this entire, like, his 4 year tenure?
Man, I I'm just glad the Secret Service found something. I'm gonna start with that. I have
That's a
been
positive. I
wondering
like that.
with drones so available and talking to a couple of my guys that are using drones to do real shit. I'm like, how do we miss a sniper on the roof at the Charlie Kirk thing, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
just some common sense stuff that in 2025 you would expect not to be able to happen,
You
right?
don't believe there's drone footage up there, Jay?
No, I absolutely, right? But like that's the whole thing that I'm saying. Like this highlights that oh, we're talking about a fucking deer stand now. Anybody taking a shot is sniper trained. They're building a sniper hide and you ain't going to see shit. So, hey man, let them have their fun. Like I'm kind of with Bobby. Like let it go. Deer stand. Ooh, they put a deer stand. Come on, man. What are we
I'm talking about. They said it
about?
was so weathered. If you got in that some bitch, you'd fall down.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Like there's
Yeah,
just some
yeah. So it's
things
definitely, yeah.
from our perspective, like, okay, there's some shit to worry about and there's some shit not to worry about.
But
Now,
as in Jake
whether
said, I'm happy they just looking. Shit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean,
Ben, what
I
about you?
think
Do you think there's any legit concerns about the president making it this entire 4 year tenure?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely legitimate concerns, of course. I mean, if it's not adversaries abroad, I don't think they even have to think about it too much. It's just, the crazies at home that are going to do something. And, I think it would be, that's just, yeah, I think it's a real concern. Obviously, I think for any president it is, but especially for this one right now, it's just because we're so polarized and there's a lot of hatred, stress, misunderstanding, especially when you're trying to make change, as a president, no matter what you think of your politics, no matter whatever your politics are, no matter what you think about him, it's just when someone's trying to make change, there's a thing called RTC, right? Resistance to change. And, people flip out about it. That's why everyone flipped out about Hegseth calling the generals and it's never been done. Well, it doesn't mean it's not okay. He's the leader, so he's
put him
doing
on
what he's
Front
got to
Street.
do. That's it. Because the thing is, I was talking about this with one of my clients the other day. He's a tech startup founder. I was talking to him. We use it as an example. Like, if you don't tell them what the expectations are very clearly, and then you expect to hold them to that standard, it's your fault. So if you're trying to make a real change from what was in the past, and I'm pivoting here on what on the speech and leadership, but I do think there's a real concern. And the one thing I'd say is that pivoting off this again, and we're talking about drones and all this stuff, but old is new, right? Old technology, simple thing like the sniper is still, it's unmatched. The sniper's not undefeated, but really shows it's still a very effective form of combat and warfare. And as much as we're so tech, everything now, drones and drone strikes, you know, again, the lone shooter, right, goes out there, the lone wolf attacks, things like that. And as Gunnery Sergeant Hartman said in Full Metal Jacket, never underestimate what a motivated Marine can do with his rifle. But you know what I mean? It's true. It's the sniper. It's a huge threat. We couldn't stop these past two huge catastrophes from happening. As you guys said, with the drones up there, there had to have been. I'm saying the FAA probably doesn't allow any civilian drones, but why isn't the Secret Service flying a drone specifically looking for these things? I think they probably are. I don't know. It's crazy, but still, what an effective form of warfare. It still is.
Yeah.
So
Now,
that's what I think about.
as far as the division that we're facing right now within the country itself, I think the other day there was a big protest going on. What would you guys chalk that off to? Would you guys, I guess, say it's a form of information, like information warfare, like a psyop? Like, what do you think have caused us to be where we are right now in this modern day and age, with all the division, with all the craziness that's going on within America? Like, never in 100 years would I have thought that we'd be where we are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can jump in if
I was
first, but
waiting
I
on him to
think
call on somebody.
Yes,
I'm
please.
not saying shit.
no, Bobby, go. Bobby, you go. I just
Yeah,
want you
Ben.
go. You go.
Bobby, please.
I think it's more media based than anything. They tried this. I guess it was a No Kings protest or something that they ran up, and I'm like, I remember not too long ago when everybody that was of color was a king. So they tried that shit up here. I want to say they had 11 people show up or whatever, and then it rained.
Yeah.
So, I don't per se see it personally anywhere I ever go. I hear about it. And I think it's just media conjuring up and trying to create division. The majority of your fighting you see is online. It's not like in protests. I was like, you want to see some protests? Go back to the LA riots and shit. Like, they was motherfucking getting down back then. You ass whippings daily and shootings and everything else. I think a lot of this is just propaganda to keep division going between people.
Ben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think people have some real grievances, and I think the appropriate way to air the political grievance is not through political violence. You know what I mean? So, and I know some people would argue with me on that. Some people would argue with me because history has proven that the effective means of negotiation has usually a means of coercion or violence attached to it. So, but within a democratic republic, in a system like we have, where we have elections and things like that, and I think the best way to do it's a peaceful protest. So, I've got no problem with them doing a peaceful protest saying no kings. They're calling Trump a king. I mean, I think, again, a true dictatorship, it's just they don't know what they're talking about. And I think it was funny when they interviewed Trump, they said, what about the no kings protest? He goes, I'm not a king because I work my ass off for this country. He's like, I'm working, if I were a king, I wouldn't be doing anything. It was pretty funny. Puts it in perspective, and he's right. But again, what they're talking about is his, pushing the envelope with what's the law, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, pushing back on Supreme Court decisions, things like that. So I think that's where it all comes from. And as long as it's a peaceful protest to bring attention, I don't think that's as big a deal. But like Bobby's saying, the real riots and the real violence and the craziness and assassinations, this is where we got to get away with. So if they want to do protests all day, bring attention to it, go for it. I think that's the better way to do it. But we got to keep away from this political terrorism, political violence. 'Cause that's really what it is. When you assassinate a leader, it's political terrorism to me.
Jake?
All right, folks, let's hit the $1 million why. We live in capitalism. Pretty much the dollar drives every decision that's made in this country. Something that I researched last week and kind of on Bobby's thing, because sometimes you get in a little rabbit hole on some craziness. How about Chicago has been supplementing its budget $800 million on anti-violence money from the government, okay? The reason they don't want Trump and the National Guard in Chicago is because they haven't put any of that $800 million towards anti-violence measures. They've been using it to supplement the budget. Okay. I want everybody that's watching to go look at Memphis. Just Google how happy people are in Memphis. There's all these, like, I don't want to call them hood channels. Let's say ethnic channels down in Memphis where guys are like, for the first time in my life, I have not heard any gunshots in a day. For the first time in my life,
Wow.
I see kids able to ride their bikes in the streets again, right? And it's documented. They've taken 1,000 people off the streets of Memphis, confiscated almost 2,000 guns, and Memphis is going back to kind of like a normal place, a vice, a full war zone, right? Chicago, they just said they're going into Portland. It's going to get interesting on the West Coast because I'm going to say this. The West Coast got a little bit of flavor to it.
It's
So,
it's rowdy. They rowdy.
yeah, they're a little different than the Midwest. Like, they gonna, but I'm gonna tell you, I wanted to go to Seattle. I'm from Seattle, went to Tai Tung's restaurant 3 months ago. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen, man. Tents everywhere. Like, man, they just need to burn everything. Okay? Like, go in there, clean everything up, get rid of and then I'm gonna tell you like this, all these governors and all this stuff, just bring them up on treason, man. Mayors, if they want to fight it, they want to tell people to protest and do all this stuff, hey, man, just bring them up on treason, okay? I'm with Ben. You can protest all you want, but when the mayor of Chicago is telling them to actively go out there and stop people, then I'm no bueno on it. Mm-hmm. No bueno.
Yeah. What's up, Bobby?
So like what he was saying about with the tents and all that shit, and I mean, I got family that lives in Southern Oregon. They've been trying to secede over to Idaho, for years now. Because they have. I mean, the problem is there's one or two cities in the entire state that basically control the voting for the entire state.
Yeah.
And I can remember going to Portland when I was younger, get to see the big ass Nike building and all that stuff. And then the last time I went up there a few years ago, tents and just these tent cities and shit. Every underpass got a hobo fucking capital underneath it. And I'm asking a friend of mine that's there, and he does a lot of work with Mercy Corps and all these other places. I said, man, is there not no programs for these people or some shit or whatever? Or is this a chosen way of life? And he's like, no, it's they choose this, because there's subsidies and stuff that they can get, money, get some. I mean, but they carefree shit. They ain't worried about nothing. You know what I'm saying? They living free every day while we on the grind out here.
Yeah. Now, Ben, what can people do to not be as susceptible to the psyop? I know me, how I combat it by not taking in as much social media, as much news as possible, which is why I fucked up the sniper hide thing. But what can people do to not be as susceptible to just the fake news in the media that's controlling their emotions, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, so, rage. Media rage is a real thing, right? Rage baiting. You pick any number of YouTube channels. That's what they do. They're just living off the rage bait, getting you to watch time, watch hours. You look at news stations, no difference, like a giant YouTube channel, right? So, I think but there are grains of truth to what these people are saying, right? So I think definitely take a look at whatever it is, your favorite outlets that they say, but then you've got to corroborate it. You've got to match it. Look at other information streams, what's in print, what's in, on the news, if you really want to know. And then what I always say, again, people that I work with, clients of mine, I just always say, focus on what you can control. And you got to be very clear, first of all, what's your plan in life? What are your objectives are? What are you really trying to do with the damn time you have on this earth? And if your whole job is to be the one who is in all the know on the news, then have at it. And you're going to spend all day reading all the different sources. But at the end of the day, do you have other goals and objectives? And like you're saying, Jay, that's why you don't read the news that much and do all that, because you're busy building coffee companies, gym companies, YouTube companies, media companies. Guys got a bunch, So yeah. So I mean, I think that's it. You gotta. I think if you really want to know what's going on, pick several sources, and somewhere in there is the truth. But you'll have a good position to be able to discuss. And you'll have a good idea of what different people are saying. Right. I mean, go on the ground is the best way to do it. But otherwise, like you're saying, I made a video about this, media rage. And if you get rage baited, you're going to keep watching, going down this rabbit hole, getting pissed off. your emotions, your mindset, and your attitude and your energy is all getting hijacked. And then what's left for you, for your family, for your finances, for your goals? I don't know. So I'm with you on that. But if you really want to know, take a look at a couple different sources. Look at something that's a peer reviewed, something that's not trying to sell you something. There are no click ads, things like that. Look at some sources like that.
Stay off Wikipedia. Stay off of Wikipedia.
I have one source, my wife. That's it. that's the only source I
That'll
got.
keep you straight right there. You'll be on the right path.
Oh yeah. Now, we were just discussing Portland and a couple of other cities, Memphis and Chicago, and all of that stuff. Now, President Trump is using National Guard, which he completely has the authority to do. Do you guys foresee that being an issue? Because from my perspective, the biggest thing I look at is, man, you have essentially, soldiers, American citizens, and in some of these states, things are getting violent, man. Because I know oftentimes, like you'll send in the National Guard, like for example, during Hurricane Katrina, right, the Rodney King riots, to where they're there to diffuse. But some of these situations, man, it's getting out of hand to where National Guard guys might be forced to treat U.S. citizens as combatants, and that's been my biggest fear and my biggest issue with what's going on. How do you guys see this developing? We'll start with you, Jake. How do you see this happening as far as National Guards being deployed around the United States to enforce ICE policies and to help keep the peace and clean some of these cities up?
Let me ask Bobby a question real quick. Are they enforcing ICE policies, or is it more crime?
I'll be honest with you. I've been purging myself quite a bit from looking into
Yeah.
things.
I haven't either. Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
just because
So I read
don't
an
wanna
article,
get too in depth with it. So
Yeah.
So I read an article the other day, Jake. So right now, especially in Chicago, for example, right, the National Guard out there, they are charged with pulling guard on ICE facilities while ICE is out chasing illegal immigrants, and they are also serving in a QRF capacity in case whenever ICE goes out there, if they get,
Yeah.
if they went into issues with the locals, then they'll call for QRF, and in that instant, the National Guard troops will respond.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's what they're doing.
So posse comitatus to me is something that the founders put in. I don't really care about it. Like Britain uses its military, like their SWAT teams are all SAS guys, right? Like the SWAT team, the SAS shows up, they sign over the scene, they kill the bad guys, they do the bank, they do whatever they got to do, and then they leave and they sign the scene back over to police. To me, posse comitatus, I understand why it's in place, but it ain't the end of the world to me. Especially when we've had so much crime, right? Like it'd be different if Chicago and Memphis weren't the two death capitals of the world. They had, I want to say it was like 600 deaths in Chicago in one calendar year, right? All the same kind of deal. So to me, like I think sometimes, like Ben is saying with change management, sometimes you just got to go in there and rip the Band-Aid off, man. Like you got to go in there, 1 million, way more force than you need, guys with machine guns, everything, get everything pushed back down so that the local policeman can now do his job without the fear of a switch getting lit up on it. So, go ahead, Bobby.
I just want to add, because I want to ask, because I don't know, has there been any reportings of any shootings or killings by military or whatnot in any of these instances? Because I mean, obviously, when you go to Memphis, especially West Memphis, I'm gonna tell you, if you got to stop and get gas, somebody pulling security for you. It is that bad. Also, I say that we don't have the police force or manpower in places anymore because of defund the police. Put the cop in jail every time he says a bad word to you. Like when we had made our law authority where they're scared to do their job, who the hell wants that job? It's not like they make a lot of money. I'm down here, you looking at making $35,000-$40,000 to take shit every day and possibly go to jail for defending yourself. So I don't believe we have the forces or the people that are competent enough anymore. I mean, look at Florida, for example. I'll just say that right there. look at the level of corruption in some of these counties with the officers, because you get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? You get exactly what you pay for these days. You want a $12 worker, you get $12 work. So,
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
should emphasize and bring back and get some quality guys. Me personally, I mean, I know a lot of guys that are retirees and stuff with a lot of experience. You give them some cheddar, they'll get out there on the streets. And that's just what it is. But we're not doing it for free.
We'll put the Expendables
Yeah.
together right here, the four of us.
I'm in.
Anybody listening? You got a budget? We'll put that shit together. We'll roll out, man. We're limited target sets now. Let's not get excited. Limited target sets. We need
No,
a big
no,
break.
no, no. Ben, not unlimited target sets. Okay.
I know, but I'm saying we need
Right,
rest
milk
though,
on the
Jake. We need
weekend.
rest.
Oh, well,
yeah,
no,
I'm
we're the
not
18.
taking
If you
anybody down on the weekends.
If you can-
Monday
if you
through
can find
Friday,
us-
hours of weakness only.
Yeah. If you can find us, maybe you can hire the 18, right? Like
That's right. It's gonna
Yeah.
cost you though. It's gonna cost you.
I just
Oh no, yeah.
That's a big. It's a big ass super chat. I'm just saying. It's a big super chat.
I just want to bring up the rhetoric because they talk about all the, they're bringing the military, but one, that's an intimidation factor. Two, they probably don't even have real bullets. They probably got less
Yeah.
lethals, more than likely. At one point, I know that they had taken the bullets from us and gave us damn axe handles.
What are you going to
I mean, a
All around
frangible
with
round,
that.
that's less
Just
than
beat
lethal, isn't it?
scissors.
Frangible round is less than lethal. Come on.
I mean, I've shot
Yeah.
many of my guys in the back with the beanbag rounds, you know what I mean, just to see how it works. But it's I think it's get more fear mongering than anything, and we've all seen that. Apparently, it works because they're not attacking them. You're not going to attack them. You're not going to attack the National Guard or whatever.
So now, what happens
Yeah.
when the National
Well-
Guard leaves?
Well,
Ben,
I'll
in
say
your
I'll say
thoughts?
one thing real quick, like with the National Guard thing. So what the big fear is this, right? Like, so I agree, that it is effective in many ways, but the concern is this, right? Is that if you have counter protests or protests that erupt that become violent, and it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you say there's an insurrection, and all of a sudden they're like, well, okay, you're treating it like an insurrection, so now we're going to have an insurrection. And as you're saying, then leads to more problems, and then it also becomes pretext. Like maybe they want that reaction. This is the concern, right? That leads to a complete overreach of power. And again, I'm hesitant to say the word dictatorship, but totalitarian type state where you have, the supreme leader using troops on the cities where it's only for special emergency powers, and the next thing you know, you're blocking voting. You're arresting people. There's no due process. People don't know for the special emergency powers. Now the governors, I'm saying that this is how it goes in history. This is why people are so concerned. Now, going in there, getting law and order back in shape, stopping the chaos, cleaning things up, fantastic. But when they go away, it's like you're saying, have you been digging in the, where the tide is, right? You're digging in the sand where the tide is. It's just going to get all washed away. I don't know. It's a great question. So, and how long are you going to hold these people for? How long do your arrests or your detainees stay away for? Things like that. What happens next? So a lot of these questions are out there. But again, as Jake had said before, and Bobby, both you guys had said, you stabilize it, build the police force back up, get it to a place where the cop's not afraid to do his job. He's going to be shot, get in trouble, get fired, whatever. Let them get back to policing. Because if you don't have law and order, you can't have anything. Stable society. You can't have good finance. You can't have financial growth. You can't have technology growth. You can't have culture and arts growth when there's violence and instability. So if that's the way things are going, then you got to take action. So we're going to see. But
What
again,
are your thoughts on some other places that don't want the government there? For example, like Chicago, right? Like they're suing Trump. They don't want the National Guard
Jake
there.
brings up follow the money. It's like Jake is following the money.
Who
Where's the
doesn't
money?
want
The
it?
$800
The
million.
people or
That's
their
that's
local
that's something I didn't know about. But I think that I think
Yeah.
that they don't want him there for a few different reasons. But I mean, Jake gives probably to me the most has the most evidence for really why they don't. You wouldn't want the help. So go ahead, Bobby. You had something to say there.
No, all I was adding was who doesn't want them there? The people.
The local government, the
Exactly.
governor and the mayor, yeah, they're all.
And I'd like to hear Jake's take on it because, like he
Yeah.
said, Jake's probably got the most insight on this than the rest of us.
So here's the deal. If y'all don't know who the mayor of Chicago is, there's Bozo the Clown, and then there's her. Okay, and so it's a real weird dichotomy, right? It's kind of like Washington State and Oregon. Chicago runs Illinois, but the rest of the state is red. Okay, you got one little pocket. You got my girl Lightfoot. You got it's just insanity, right? So, an example I'm going to give you: the city was paying. I'm sorry, the government was paying. One of my guys. So I got a good friend there. His buddy was running a halfway house for for immigrants. Okay, he was making $4,000 a room. He bought a hotel and filled it up with immigrants and was making $4,000 a person a room. He was making just cash cow. Okay, and you think about it, you're like, all our resources are going to house some immigrants that are in the country illegally. Well, I know this. My guy told me a couple weeks ago he sold it. All the immigrants are gone. Everybody ran for the hills. So you tell me, right? What's it called? What kind of city is it? The Harbor City or the
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary City,
Yeah.
right? Now,
Yeah.
I will say this. I'm gonna say something really personal. I coach a bunch of sports at the YMCA. I got fired last week from one of them, but it is what it is. But one of my kids' dad is in custody right now. And it's a really sad situation because there's a 10-year-old boy affected by the fact that his dad's in custody. Right? Now, there's some history there, okay? But I look at it and I'm like, should that guy be in America? He's been in America for like 25 years, okay? We got him in custody because he was doing everything right. He went to his yearly check-in on his green card, and they said, oh, you're going to detention, but he's from a country we don't have an exposition or ex whatever thing with, so they can't send him home, right? I think right now, and you guys may differ, all we're doing is making more cynical people that are going to be in America, and where our country was built on immigration. Like, it's the dumbest shit in the world to me, right? Like, oh, we're more noble than you are. We've been here 100 years, even though, I mean, shit, me and Jay a little different. Jay got here from Haiti, but he got to Haiti in a slave boat, okay? Mm-hmm. I got, I'm not even claiming that black side 34%, but that 34% got here on a slave boat, okay? So, like, I don't know how we're so down on immigration. I understand illegal immigration. I understand that, but I talked to the mother yesterday. You know what I told her? I said, listen, man, we should drop the hammer, figure out how to get all these people legal in America, and then stop people from coming in. Because I think going to get somebody that's been in the country for 15 years is just it's a disservice to our great country, man. Our whole country is built on immigration.
I would have to say that you're talking about these guys getting grabbed at 25 years. I'm sure that wherever the op order started and came downhill, and I'm sure it had, this is what our target goal is. But these guys at the lower levels, they looking for action. You join them units for action. So they're snatching anybody and everybody that got a name on it. And they might be getting so much money per guy, like you said.
120 a year, Bobby. 120
so
a year is what they're getting paid to keep them in a detention facility.
I was looking at, the amount of people that Trump's deported. And, the numbers that's actually been deported, physically by us is around 500,000. Now, 1.6 million have left on their own because he gave them an ultimatum. Your ass can leave the country voluntarily and do the right thing and come back in. We'll let, do the process. We'll let you in. If your ass is kicked out the country, you can never come back to America. So 1.6 million, he got voluntarily to call their asses out the border and start doing the process to the port of entry. I think that's a win. We removed 2 million, obviously, of undocumented. But like you said, these guys grabbing people that's been around 20, 25 years, man, they ain't hurting nobody. How do you vet each one of these people that way with the amount and the time and how fast he's trying to go? Because we got a short period. We got a short window. Yeah. We got a small window.
Yeah, but that's just it again. Like, when you declare you're going to make change and you want to be respected as a leader, and you're leading, you have a significant, you're the president of the United States. I'm going to say, I've never led anything anywhere astronomically in the same galaxy as that, but I've led big organizations, and I think you want to be taken seriously. You got to come out hard right away, and you got to come out with, if you have so many exceptions, you let people, rationalize every decision you're making, say, we're going to go hard, and they tug on your shoulder, but sir, not this. We're going to go hard, but not for these people, and we're not going to go hard for these people. So what I'm seeing to me is that he's coming out hard, and I say the president, but as you said, the trickle-down effect. He might be like, I didn't mean that, and the trickle-down effect is when it gets to the guys on the ground, like Bobby's saying, that's why you always have to be so careful. As a leader, words have meaning. The way you task your people, and then you have to inspect what you expect. If you're hearing these things going on, then you didn't intend that. You got to make a hard course correction. And, this is nothing new. I think Joe Rogan the other day played a clip of Hillary Clinton in 2008 saying, if you're an immigrant and you committed a crime, you're gone. If you're an immigrant illegally, you're gone. Now, if you've been an immigrant, you've been paying your taxes, and you can show it, we'll try to work with you, or something like that. But, he was saying, Joe Rogan's like, Hillary Clinton was more MAGA than half of MAGA back in the day.
She was hardcore about some
yeah, man. And Obama, the same thing. Obama pushed more people than Trump ever did out. I don't know if it's any more this way, but, at least his first term. But, I think Jake has a great point. At some point, we do have to realize that, immigrants did build this country. Now, the argument goes legal immigrants did, okay? And so, no, I agree. Jake, I agree. I'm going to say the counterpoint to that. I'm saying this is what the counter argument would be, is that legal immigrants did. But then you think, what was legal immigration when people just showed up here? They just showed up. You know what I mean? So I'm saying there's a lot to be considered, but I do agree at some point we have to come to a full stop and say, okay, we did the hard thing. We got rid of the people we needed to get rid of. But now we need to have some type of system in place that says, this is the criteria from this point forward, going forward. There's no more amnesty, and all that stuff. So you're right about that. We got to try to figure it out, because here's the thing. Germany just put out. Now, Germany right now, if you guys don't know this, but, their far right is winning the elections. Like the Nazi party, okay, maybe it's not called the Nazis anymore, but they are the Nazis, are coming back.
Where does the word Nazi derived from?
National Socialist. So they're coming back, and so I could be wrong about that. It's a Democratic Socialist, I believe. It's National Democratic Socialist, right?
You're correct. I just want people to hear it.
Okay, good. Yeah. But I'm saying they're coming back. The last quick point, Jake. Hold on. They're coming back right now, and you know what the people are saying? Like their finance minister, kind of the geeks with the glasses on and all that, who really run the world and all the money. They're like, this is good. We're getting rid of immigrants, I think, but our population is declining, and for us to have GDP growth, we need immigration. Otherwise, we're going to be dying as a country in 10 or 20 years. So I like all the big pride. Yes, good, but we're going this way. India and China, they're going this way. We're going this way. So what are we going to do? I'm just saying this is what's out there.
Incredible point, but I want to throw one caveat on that.
Yeah.
So they took all the Afghani, Iraqi immigrants, okay? Go look at the calendar. They're talking about in 20 years, Germany, France, all those places that took all the immigrants, because of their decline in population internally, are going to be like Muslim rank. They're going to be the minority, right? And really quickly, like in a 20-year period, because the Muslims are having 5-6 kids apiece, kind of like the Hispanics coming in the country, right? They have a lot of kids,
right?
So it's just it's interesting, right? Like the world's going through a transformation right now, and it's not necessarily like I always go back to, I don't really give a shit about any other country than America, and I'm gonna put a caveat on that. I live in Texas. I don't really give a shit about any other state than Texas, because if there's a revolution, I'm already in the next best country. Like, I'm in it. So
I can already see you with a coonskin cap over at the goddamn.
That's right. Hey, bro. Hey, don't make me go upstairs and show you that 60-pound raccoon I got pelted out on my wall. Don't make me do it, Bob.
Don't do it, Jake. Don't do it. I want you to bring it down.
Showing up at the Alamo with fucking Billy the Goat behind him. I mean.
Yeah. But
That's
you know, I mean,
wild.
these are really, you know, I mean, discussions that are very important to the situation we're talking about. You know what I mean? So yes, nobody wants the identity of their country to change, 100%. And that, but this is the counter argument. Like, well, you say we want more GDP growth, but then we can't get that if we don't do this, and so it's a lot of these things are tough. They're really tough, you know. But at the end of the day, the citizens and
Yeah.
people have to decide what's the character of their country going to be, and how do they want it to take place. So, you know,
Let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
like I think America is what it is because of its immigrants. You look at Elon Musk, right? He's from
yeah,
South
for
Africa.
sure,
Yeah,
for
I think
sure, yeah,
our ability to take the best and brightest from other country into the United States is what's made it
for
what it
sure,
is today.
for
Well,
sure.
So
that
we
has
just
come
have
up
to
here
figure out
recently
what that
about
looks like.
bringing in, the ones from China and India and stuff like that, and bringing in these brighter people. But um, what I want to bring up a caveat to what he said about the numbers, because American birth rate is at an all-time low right now, and it's mostly because we can't fucking afford it. Any of us that are responsible about it, it's like, man, I can't afford to have 4 or 5 kids. I mean, Jay, he got 9 jobs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, two more
Soon to be
motherfucking
10.
jobs, he ain't
But
going ever back to bed
but
again. He goes right to the
here's the thing
basketball
though,
every
like
day.
where did that mindset of I can't afford it come from, right? Because dude, my
Well,
my mom and dad, there was 8 of us in a one bedroom in Brooklyn, New York, and they
because
found
people
ways
don't
to
want to live
afford
at
it. This was
8
like
of us in a one
1990s.
bedroom.
Like how can like people that were born here and are working can't afford it, right? When immigrants are coming from all over the world with like 8 to
I'm
9
sending
kids
this
and
clip
they're
straight
making
to
it
my
work.
kids. I don't hear any excuses. I'm gonna send this little.
I want to bring a positive note to all of this as well, though. There is a positive note because illegals have been exploited in the country by manufacturing plants and stuff, especially
Yep.
Tyson Foods and whatnot. And what they do is they can exploit them for money. And I actually know guys that exploit their own, and they'll bring in these guys and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna get you hooked up, but you're gonna give me a piece of that check every motherfucking month." And they do it with all of them. That happens all the time. We have a raid. Next year they'll have another raid. It's just a repeating cycle. But I will say this: it hasn't been repeating since Trump has been in. So what it's going to force these companies to do is actually pay fucking real wages, because there's a competitive market at that point. There's not enough people to fill the slots. So if you guys want some people, you're going to have to pay some money, because
All right,
everybody that's good got a job.
I gotta say this, Bobby. I gotta say this, okay? I'm gonna tell you where we're at as a country.
You going
You
to tell
used
me
to
or
be able.
kill me?
No, you good, Bobby. You used to be able. So in Walmart in Maryland, you used to be able to pull up on Home Depot and get a day laborer, just an immigrant that needed some money for $100 a day. Solid bit of cash, no taxes. I used them to dig a bunch of holes. I'm 53 years old. I couldn't dig the holes. I hired them to dig some holes. If I pulled back up this summer when I was in Maryland working on a house to try to get them to cut down some bamboo I got in my yard, they wanted $300 a day. Okay? Now, if we paying now, my other guy is using them in Baltimore. And he said everybody's so scared they charging $300 like it's the primo, right? These are the guys that are fighting their way through stuff. But understand this, ain't no houses getting built in Florida right now. Across the country, ain't no roofs getting put on because that's who was doing all the work. So no different than who built the railroads, no different than, the Irish indentured servants that came over. Like, I'm going to say it again, our country built on immigration.
Man, I'm gonna just
So
tell you, when they started paying me $50 an hour, they couldn't run me off with a shitty mop. I'm talking about I was out there every day. Sundays too. They're like, "Bob, you can't work every fucking day." The fuck I can't. The money's right. You'd be surprised what the hell I'll do.
Oh man. All right, let's transition into this last one.
Before we go down that road,
We got about 10 minutes left,
about that.
and then we'll
that was
we'll call
great.
this one. Yeah. So this last one we'll talk about revolves around just young men, right? And the dramatic, I guess, decline in what we would consider as manly men, right? I would say over the past 20 years or so, while the global war on terrorism has been going on, our men here in America, they've slowly have been turned into what they are right now. I know there's pockets of them that are still out there trying to get after it, but then there's a overwhelming, incredible number of them that aren't. And I have a theory, and I say this to my I don't say it to my son yet, but I'm thinking about it. I was like, dude, as a man, you will rise and fall to the level that you need to in order to get laid, right? Like if you just wake up and you're able to get laid, whether that's porn sites or whatever, you're gonna do shit, right? But way back when men used to be men before the internet, before all this crap came about, and you used to have to go prove yourself so you can go to the girl's dad's house and ask her out on a date. And like guys were actually doing shit, right? They were because they know if I don't do this, I'm not gonna get laid, right? It's just a different dynamics. What are you guys' thoughts, not on what I said, but on how men came to where to be what they are today? Right? Is it social media? Is it the lack of fathers fathering? Like, what would you guys, I guess, credit that to, if that makes any sense? We'll start with
I've
you,
actually
then.
done a ton of study on this over
Oh,
the last
sorry,
few
Bobby.
years.
Go ahead.
I apologize, Jay, and I wasn't trying to jump in. But just because I wanted to give enough
Yeah.
information because these guys might hit on it. I just want to bring it to
Yeah.
and it's something that I've studied for about 4 or
Try to
5
get it out
years.
first.
So what I've went and looked in the studies, and people, you really have to. When I say look for information, you have to be very specific because these web browsers are designed to only give you X amount of stuff. And what I'll say is, since the 1980s, the testosterone in men have been tested has dropped 1% a year till now. And I went out and I went and talked to some guys that worked at water treatment plants, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, man, how do y'all get the hormones out of water? And he told me, he said, we can't. So it is 100% fact. You can look at reputable sites you want to find, NIH, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The amount of contraceptives from women and estrogen levels in water has risen, and what it has done is it's been a decline in testosterone. 1% doesn't sound like a lot, but you can see the timeline of how it's escalated. That's 40% since our age has grown.
Wait, Bobby, what do you
And-
mean getting the hormones out of water? Like,
You cannot get hormones out of water. So, our water is recycled through these water treatment plants. All right.
Okay.
They don't get the hormones out of it. They just make it clean enough to drink. I mean, it's still got
can
traces
they
of,
put
medication.
testosterone in the water?
There's estrogen in the water, like birth control.
So the other big one is antibiotics in the water.
That's another one as well. Well, there's one more part about this right here, and people haven't went and looked at it. I personally did because I did a little test on myself. COVID, anybody that had had gotten COVID, whatever, almost every one of them has a form, even at younger ages, of hypogonadism now. Go and read, look about it. It is in the NIH. There's several accredited Oxford, Harvard studies on it, on testosterone and COVID links. That's why it was targeting the older generations because
Can you? I'll do it like Diary of a CEO. Can you tell us what hypergonadism is?
so basically what that does is your body is actually go and look at testosterone levels of people when they had COVID, it bottomed out. It was zeroing it. It was attacking it because testosterone and estrogen are linked to our endocrine system. You know what I mean? Basically that's what it was used. And they were also looking at using synthetic testosterone as actually a way to fight COVID because it targets them. And that information is out there for everybody that wants to go look. It is, like I said, at accredited universities, Oxford, Washington State University, the NIH, whatever. Well, when you get to hypogonadism, it becomes permanent. So these younger generations, while you see these boys, get more and more feminine as we go, it's not because that they want to be feminine. It's because their body, we always call it old man strength. Right now, an 18-year-old boy is toting around about the testosterone levels of a 75-year-old man from the fucking 60s. Because all I ever thought about was looking for women. These kids nowadays, they ain't even trying to get out and look at nothing, man. I'm talking about, we was sending song lyrics, putting on hell, I wouldn't go to Walmart without looking clean. I might run into something. Sorry, but I'm going to let you guys. But this is something I really thought about a lot, and I've worked on this for a while.
So you think it's just the hormones just being low to begin with? Jake, what are your thoughts on this?
All right, here we go. So I'm raising 3 boys, and I'm in a fight with myself every day because I'm raising men. Okay.
Jake. them up and just
So
sticks them right.
yeah.
Is
So
that
so
Just injection every morning.
I'm trying to be very cognizant because I know my kids and my kids at school watch my videos. Okay, but I saw something this Saturday that was really telling. Kids spend 70% less time outside than they did 20 years ago. 70%. I think about my childhood, they're spending 95% less time than I spent. I was out the house at 7, back at 5, eat dinner, back out at 6. In the summer, I'll be home at 11, right? Every day of the summer, probably up until 6th, 7th grade. So I'm been throwing my kids outside, man. Like, I'm gonna tell you this, like, not one of my kids has been in a fight at school, really. You know, I got a 8th grader, a 6th grader, and a 4th grader. No fights, right? No violence, no testosterone checking or testing, right? Like, no, let me measure myself against some other kid in the playground. There's none of that going on. So I think I love what Bobby's saying. I totally agree with Bobby. There's a whole bunch of shit going on underlying that people aren't really talking about. I know there's a bunch of studies, like Bobby said, about testosterone level now versus the 1950s. So the other aspect that I'm gonna add to Bobby's fire is the food we're eating. The food we're eating has so many preservatives and all these additives. Like, that's been chipping away at it also. But as far as raising boys, man. Now, I'll tell you this. I took a dude off of all electronics for a month because I didn't like the interaction he was having with his mom. Okay? And it was just the tone. I heard video games and Minecraft coming through in that tone. I said, no, we're going to see what happens if I cut this out. So that happened Friday afternoon. I'm already seeing a change in his behavior, and it's Tuesday.
I did the same thing. My 7-year-old, he's not starting to act up, but he's starting to talk like some of the stuff that he's seen in the video games. So I cut it out, and it's like night and day. Like, no more like Worlds of Warcraft and all the other stuff that they play. So we cut it out, and it was like night and day. And it's like, oh, for boys, it's mainly video games and like the silly reaction videos. For girls, it's more like Instagram and all this other social media stuff. But it's like night and day. I was like, and he doesn't even get it a lot to begin with, right? He gets it like after school, like once a day for a couple of hours, if he's good at school. But even that was starting to mess with how he interacted with his mom. So it's like, all right, now you're only gonna get it on the weekends now, right? And it's like, if that doesn't work, then you're not gonna get it at all, right? Because it's one of those things. Just the amount of time that he was getting it was affecting his brain already. I can only imagine kids that get it every day or prolonged periods of time, right? Ben, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know me. A lot of the stuff that I do is first and foremost in the mental space, right? As far as like the first and one of the core beliefs I have is that, you know, you change your thoughts, you change your life. You direct your mental focus, you change your thoughts, which will impact your belief system, which will impact the habits you have, which will impact your results in life, right? So you impact the actions, the habits based on the beliefs and the thoughts. And so I think that probably what it means to be a man has been shaped significantly by the media over the past 30 years. Even what it means to be attractive as a man has been shaped to being a more feminine man, more, maybe compassionate, things like that. So I mean, I think there's a lot of that has gone on. I'm not gonna say that's the one factor. I'm saying it is a factor. Bobby's named a factor I didn't even know about. So that, that these are many factors at play, and I don't want to act like, this is the only one. What Jake has said matters a lot too. But I do think a lot of it is, what they think will make them popular, and then what is possible for them. They have these super empowered tools that can make them popular, desirable, all these things in this space, and access to, like you said, to pornography and to dopamine hits, all these different things. So doing hard physical things, scary things, very uncomfortable. I mean, here, okay, everybody in the audience, take this with a grain of salt. Look at these 4 dudes here, okay? This is we're not normal. I just want to say that. So, I mean, we've all done very hard things to where we're like, I don't know if it's going to work. I hope it works. We're passing through fire, literally, to become who we became. And I think, those rituals, first of all, were difficult for our generation, what we're talking about. But I think then for this instant information age where we're reaching a point where, pretty soon, in the very near future, there's going to be no more people who never lived in a time where it wasn't instant access to every type of communication, social interaction without making contact, calling someone, saying something, criticizing someone without getting the fist in your face. Like, you're coming up to the equivalent of Brock Lesnar and being like, you're a pussy, I'd kick your ass from halfway around the world. Never going to happen in the real world. You know what I mean? You're not going to be like that.
Your boy will travel.
You will do it. I'll come with you. I'll be your corner man.
I'm serious.
Hey, wait a minute now. I done had 2 people show up to the destination and then cower and run away. Okay, so don't
I remember
get it
one of those
confused.
stories you told me. I
Yeah,
remember one of those.
like,
yeah.
you got internet powers. Show right up here, and
That's
then the
it,
other dude. Yeah, my dude in Billings, Montana. Yeah.
But that's it too. Is that like we got, ladies and gentlemen, we got lots of stories packed in this little group right here.
Sorry.
But what I would say is that I think that's a lot of it too. Is like they really have to make the calculus. Okay, do hard things in real life to get respect. Super amount of pain, very hard, long fuse time before bang. Long fuse, lots of work. Internet, stay on here, act certain ways, manipulate myself. Don't worry about doing hard things, which is going to raise the testosterone, make you, more manly, make you more confident in the real world. So I think all these things are at play. And so, they've had to learn how to navigate this world where how do I become popular, desirable as quickly as possible, without having to pay the price, risk myself, go through pain, go through this crazy adventure like the 4 of us have gone through. I think, and now there's the backlash of it all where all these young men are coming to people like us. Man, I go live on TikTok just for the heck of it. And I'm just trying to talk about, just talk to people and talk about my stuff. Everyone, as soon as they see this, they all stop. And I have, so many young men on there. What about this? What about that? What about the military? What about, then they want to talk about special forces, SEALs. I'm like, look, go see Jake. Go see Jay. Go see Bobby. Go see,
Don't come see
Aaron.
Bobby because I'm gonna tell you the harsh reality. And the harsh reality is all that special forces and everything sounds awesome, but they didn't see all them hard ass days and starving and cold and freezing that you guys did for all them years.
Exactly.
And it ain't no motherfucking fun when the rabbit got the gun and somebody shooting back at your ass, because that happens too. So while you're comfortable, all these things sound obtainable and amazing. But that's why there's just a few select that make it, and that can last.
That's right.
It's tough.
You know what I found too? I'll just say, did you guys find it was
missing.
But the acute, that's it. Exactly, in a nutshell. And again, it starts with your thoughts and directing your thoughts and being willing to play the long game and pay the price for a long time, man, before you reach anything like this. But I found one thing, I'll say, for all the training, all stuff like that, and then also go into combat, and I don't ever talk about this stuff, but I found it was the cumulative stacking of stress. It wasn't like, oh, okay, for example, jump school, dive school, freaking, basic reconnaissance course, or, BUDS, or all these different, or, Q course. Oh, combat deployment 1, combat deployment 2. Once you touch the fire a couple times, that shit, you start thinking about it before you go. You're like, oh man, this is for real. Last time I kind of didn't know, I was all gung-ho, but this time I'm like, I remember how last time went. Shit, I don't know. And so, I mean, the cumulative stacking to where, it's hard, man. So anybody out there listening, it's not just the training, dude. It's not just the training. You got to live the life then. You got to really think, do I want that life? Yeah.
How many birthdays and Christmases and shit did all of y'all miss? And see your kid walk or some of these things. There is a trade-off in life. I tell people that all the time. I missed everything important in my kid's young life. But it was a trade-off to have these accomplishments. And I got to show y'all something because it come in the mail, baby. Look at that. You see that?
Oh, I'm about to say,
there you go. There you go.
Don't pants off, Bobby.
When that motherfucker, I wasn't going to show y'all the goddamn game changer. But I mean, I was like, if I put that belt buckle on today, he come in the mail, I was standing at the mailbox putting it down.
The game changer. I love it.
All right, we have one super chat that we've missed from early on. It's by BM Book. and it just says take away funding for sanctuary cities. That'll fix the issue. All right. Agree 100%. Any last words, guys, before we punch out of here? We're at 11 plus. I got a meeting I got to run to. Any
Go buy
last
Jay's
words,
coffee.
anybody?
Buy Jay's coffee.
Check
Yeah,
out
Yeah,
Jay's coffee.
Jay, where can we
Check
find
out-
your coffee?
where can
All
we
right,
get it?
darkartscompany.com, guys. Buy a bag. 10% of the proceeds will go towards the foundation that I also started to help house homeless vets. Right, so 10% of
That's
all the
awesome.
proceeds goes towards that foundation.
Before we get off, because this is the last part I want to ask about the coffee, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of these people say, man, well, this coffee come from here, it come from there, da-da-da-da-da. They ordered it offline. How did you obtain your coffee? I need to know. I got to know.
Me?
Yep. Did you go check
Well,
this shit out in person?
Yeah, I was in Colombia for about 4 days. So I went to Colombia, went to the farm. I met with the roasters all down there in Medellin, Colombia, which is a wonderful fucking place, by the way. If you guys haven't been, go check that shit out. It's amazing.
It's cheap down there.
I actually went to Colombia and they ship it to me every time I place an order. Right, so it's actually Colombian coffee from Colombia. It's actually pretty
What I
good,
was getting
man.
at was like all the
so-
areas and the flavors you personally went there yourself and seek that shit out.
Yeah,
and make
yeah.
sure that
I'm
we
actually
do
going to Istanbul, Turkey next year. I'm gonna be down there doing the same thing. So that should be a pretty fun one too. Which you guys are more than welcome to join if you guys want. Not the audience. I'm not paying for your shit. I'm not paying for your ticket, but
Coffee,
everybody.
it's kind of mid on Colombian energy supplements and shit.
Yeah, maybe get you a bag and find out. Get you.
I
Hey,
got some. I'm
Bobby,
gonna order
Bobby.
some.
Find out. But
Bobby, Jay is not allowed to put a cocoa leaf in every bag. Okay, I know what you want, Bobby.
Flakes, baby. I want a box of frosted flakes.
Oh man! All right, well, folks, again, we appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode of the War Room Podcast. Like I said, this is the new By the Rhythm now every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Me and the boys will be going live to bring some humor and bring our 2 cents to you guys. We appreciate you guys
Say
tuning
y'all's
in.
asses out of the Caribbean in a boat. I don't care if
And we'll
it's on the cruise, anything. Say the fuck
Hey,
out there
and get to
on the-
Colombia while you still can, because President Trump and this president don't get along. He called him like
Yeah.
ignorant and rude. So get there while you can.
Oh my lord!
All right, y'all.
man! But all right, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you, fellas.
All right,
Later,
fellas,
guys.
take care.